Dear students, welcome to yet another video on digital communication. So in this video, I will be discussing about the very basic prerequisites of Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization procedure. So in previous videos, we have seen geometric representation of signals and its important characteristics. So geometric representation of signal was the means of representing capital M finite energy signal as linear combination of capital N orthonormal basis functions, and I'm pretty much sure that you people are very much familiar with that, and we even had a wonderful discussion 2.2 on Shaw's inequality, and I'm really happy that all of you have participated in that and you have come up with new insights and thoughts. I'm very happy. Soon I'll be releasing the score for that discussion, and I'm very happy that all of you have actively taken part in that discussion. So, in this video, that is video 2.3, we'll be discussing some of the basic prerequisites of Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization procedure. So, Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization procedure is the process by which we can derive or we can get the set of orthonormal basis or orthonormal set of basis functions from a set of given capital M finite energy signals. So we have seen if we have basis function and the coefficients using a synthesis equation, we can always obtain the signals S1 of t through Sm of t, and on the other hand, using the analysis equation, if we have the finite energy signals as well as the basis functions, how to obtain the coefficients. We have seen that. Now in the actual problem is, given a set of m finite energy signals, how to obtain the basis functions. So the answer to that question is Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization, and it is a procedure using which we can derive n orthonormal set of basis functions for a capital M set of energy signals. And the first and foremost step in obtaining basis functions using the procedure is evaluating the energy of signals and obtaining unit energy signal from a given energy signal. So I will be discussing how to evaluate energy of a signal and how to get unit energy signal from a given signal. So that is what will be discussed in this very short video. So before we move ahead and discuss the actual process of Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization, I would like to discuss some prerequisites. So I hope all of you have seen a PDF which I have posted, illustration of geometric representation. In that, the first example which I have given was evaluating energy of a set of signals. There I've considered three signals. One was a normal rectangular pulse of duration t second and amplitude a, and another one was a split space pulse wherein the amplitude was positive a from 0 to t by 2 seconds and negative a from t by 2 to plus t seconds. And another one is a typical RF pulse which you will be encountering in the third module, that is which for bandpass modulation technique. So these are three important types of signals which you will encounter, and I have shown how energy of these signals can be evaluated. So we'll just have a quick recap. So energy of the first signal, that is a normal rectangular pulse, can be evaluated as integral 0 to t s square of t dt. That is, it would actually have been integral minus infinity to infinity. But luckily, the signal value is 0 for all other values of t other than 0 to t. So the integral reduces to integral 0 to t s square of t dt, and the value of s of t from 0 to t is a. So integral is integral 0 to t s square dt. and so we can find energy is equal to a square times capital T. And in the second case again, we have two sets of amplitudes for over two time intervals. So this integral can be split down into two integrals. One is integral 0 to t by 2, another one integral t by 2 to t. And the first integral, over that time duration, the amplitude is plus a, and over the second time duration, the amplitude is minus a. So the energy can be evaluated as a square t. And the third one, the RF pulse. So this RF pulse will be appearing in almost all the discussions of third module. And you can see one constraint for an RF pulse to be used in digital communication or digital bandpass modulation is that there should be integer number of complete cycles over one bit duration or over the pulse duration. So that is what I have mentioned here as T is equal to n times 1 by f. So and for T of time duration 0 to T, the amplitude real instantaneous value of the signal s of t is equal to a sine 2 pi ft, and the value is 0 elsewhere. And the energy of the signal can be evaluated, and of course a square t dt integral 0 to t, and that is equal to a square sine square 2 pi ft, and we know sine square 2 pi ft is nothing but 1 minus cos twice the angle by 2 dt. So and so I can split it in, we can split it into two integrals. The first one would be integral 0 to t a square by 2 dt, and the second one is integral 0 to t cos 4 pi ft dt, as the RF pulse sine 2 pi ft has integer number of cycles over a bit duration 0 to t. Cos 4 pi ft, that is exactly twice the frequency of that sine 2 pi ft, will have twice the number of cycles, which will also be an integer value over 0 to t. So that integral reduces to 0. Why? Because there is equal positive and negative amplitudes over the duration. So that integral reduces to 0. So the energy is equal to a square t by 2. So now further I have discussed, if energy is to be E, the amplitude should be equal to root E by t in the case of normal RF pulse, and even for a split phase pulse with 50% positive and 50% negative, the amplitude should be equal to root E by t. And in the case of an RF pulse, the amplitude should be equal to root 2 E by t for energy to be equal to E. So now the very important aspect which I would like to discuss here is in next section, that is Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization procedure, we will be discussing how to find out an orthonormal set of basis functions from a given set of m energy signals. So for that we have to evaluate energy of individual signals, and maybe we'll have to get or derive unit energy signals from the given set of signals. So as I have just now mentioned, for energy to be equal to E, amplitude in first and second case it is equal to root E by t, and in third case it is root 2 E by t. So what will happen, what do we need to do, or what should be the amplitude level for energy to be equal to unity or energy to be equal to 1? So in first and second case we can see, if I substitute E is equal to 1, amplitude will be root of 1 by t, or what we should do is to normalize the energy. For energy of a signal to be equal to unity, we have to divide the amplitude level of the signal with root of its energy, so that the resultant signal will have unit energy, as energy is proportional to square of amplitude. So of course when we divide the amplitude with square root of energy, we will get unit energy signal. And in the last case, in the case of an RF pulse, if we divide the amplitude with root of E, or if I substitute E is equal to 1, the amplitude should be equal to root 2 by T over a duration 0 to T. So this is how we can get, or we can derive a unit energy signal from a given finite energy signal. So basically what we need to do is we should divide the given amplitude with square root of energy, so that we will get unit energy signal. So finding out unit energy signal, it is very important aspect as far as uh, Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization procedure is concerned. So I hope this aspect is clear. I request you to take some other examples as well and find out the energies of such pulses, and try to get unit energy pulses from those pulses.